afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Metropolitan Stadium.
Call it in the air, please.
Heads.
Heads, he calls.
Hey, listen now. 4 quarters, 60 minutes, and we're the champions.
Looking for a pregame snapshot? Try a quarterback. They're used to the exposure. Quarterbacks are pro football's best known and most visible performers, as a result of which their talents are often called into question. Questions such as, is this one big enough? Is this one durable enough? Does this one still have what it takes? In New England, the man in the fishbowl is Steve Grogan. Grogan's critics claim that he's the weak link on an otherwise outstanding football team. A gifted physical specimen who nonetheless is an inconsistent passer with little or no touch. He finds all the criticism a little hard to understand. Last Sunday against the Jets, Grogan's passing touch was nothing short of spectacular. Grogan threw a Schaefer Stadium record 5 touchdown passes. 2 of those went to young Stanley Morgan, number 86, a world-class sprinter who can turn a crossing pattern into 6 points. For a change of pace, Grogan went the other way, and veteran Harold Jackson accepted 3 perfectly thrown scores. It was a record-breaking offensive performance by the Patriots. Conversely, it was an afternoon to forget for Jet quarterback Richard Todd. Todd self-destructed a good half-dozen times, and on each occasion the Jet turnovers set the stage for another Grogan success. As goes Steve Grogan, so go the Patriots. He may have had his bad games, but when he's hot, New England is unstoppable. The quarterback, Brian Sipe of the Cleveland Browns, a passer whose ability to throw the soft ball over a retreating linebacker such as number 59 is one of his strengths. The rap against Sipe is that he's too fragile to endure a 16-game schedule. But last week in Kansas City, he put his 185-pound frame into 2 first-half touchdown passes as Cleveland took a 17-0 lead. His offense stymied, Chief Coach Marv Levy made a quarterback change, going to young Steve Fuller. The 21-year-old rookie was faced with a situation that should have turned his Adam's apple into a grapefruit. Instead, he launched the Chiefs on a comeback. As an ecstatic hometown crowd sang its praises, the poised youngster directed the Chiefs on 3 second-half scoring drives. The comeback gave the Chiefs their first lead of the afternoon. But on this day, the so-called fragile little veteran would have the final word. Slipping tackles and rolling from the pocket, Sipe engineered a classic 2-minute drill. "76 yards in 8 plays, the decisive ones coming on Sipe's 3rd and final touchdown toss. Number 33, Reggie Rucker, gathered in the game winner as Cleveland rallied for its second straight come-from-behind victory. Brian Sipe was the difference on this day. His superb poise on Cleveland's closing drive spoiled his counterpart's NFL debut. Nonetheless, a young signal caller earned some respect in Arrowhead Stadium. And if his first NFL appearance is any indication, Steve Fuller is a quarterback with a bright future. This is the seated position a third-string quarterback generally assumes in the NFL. The Bears' Vince Evans observed that a pro quarterback, in this case the Vikings' Tommy Kramer, is only as good as his teammates allow him to be. The ball proved elusive in Chicago, and the Vikings could score but once all day. Given a rare opportunity to direct the Bears, Evans released Chicago's most reliable and dangerous weapon, number 34, Walter Payton. The 26-7 Bear win featured a rigid defense that has allowed just 10 points in 2 games. And Chicago finds itself in a most unfamiliar position, first place in the NFC Central Division. In Milwaukee, New Orleans quarterback Archie Manning continued to run up impressive passing statistics. But none of these figures have added up to a win. A 33-yard touchdown pass to tight end Henry Childs gave the Saints a 12-point lead. They failed to hold it. The Packers, unable to score a touchdown in their first 6 quarters of play this year, called on running back Steve Atkins to get them into scoring position. The rookie from Maryland showcased his talents effectively and joined a growing list of first-year running backs who have already rushed for over 100 yards in a game this season. With much of the Saints' attention focused on Atkins, Green Bay quarterback Dave Whitehurst accepted the consequences of running his own interference. His touchdown gave the Packers a lead they would not relinquish, winning 28-19. A Buffalo offense that was virtually non-existent on opening day was resurrected in Rich Stadium against the Cincinnati Bengals. Curtis Brown's strange encounter with the opening kickoff was one of Buffalo's few mistakes, as the Bills rolled up their highest single-game point total in 13 years. Rookie wide receiver Jerry Butler withstood his first foray into the Cincinnati secondary. He recovered to catch 7 passes for 116 yards. But it was Roland Hooks, number 25, who was primarily responsible for the Buffalo surge. In addition to catching 3 passes for 60 yards, Hooks repeatedly dissected a mass of Bengal bodies. A 10th-round draft choice in 1975, he not only threatened the health of Cincinnati defenders, but that of a security guard as well. In the second half alone, Hooks was batting 1,000. He carried the ball from scrimmage 4 times and scored 4 touchdowns. Bills win big, 51-24. With a full complement of talented young running backs, it may just be an indication of better days to come in Buffalo. The Seattle Seahawks were expected to storm out of the Pacific Northwest and grow into a power of hurricane force. However, in their first two games, their offense, led by quarterback Jim Zorn, has proved spotty, and the team is becalmed in the sultry winds of defeat. To contain Zorn, the Miami Dolphins often blitz their linebackers. Here, number 50 Larry Gordon defeated his blocker and strong-armed a path into Zorn's face. In two games, Zorn has thrown 6 costly interceptions, a result, some say, of pass blockers who couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. While Zorn was bent, mutilated, and spindled, Dolphin quarterback Bob Griese stood poised and unflappable as usual. Griese is nearsighted and critics say weak-armed, drawbacks that were not apparent inside the 10. Miami has made a smooth transition from a running team to a passing team because of the talent possessed by wide receivers Nat Moore and number 82 Duriel Harris. The critical score came when Griese isolated middle linebacker Terry Beeson, number 58, on a running back. Beeson had to make up too much ground on number 31, Norm Bulash, whose scrambling touchdown gave the Dolphins a 19-10 victory. 3,000 miles away in San Diego, managing general partner Al Davis of the Oakland Raiders anguished over his quarterback and an offense he said doesn't dominate anyone anymore. It is hard for any quarterback, even redoubtable Kenny Stabler, to complete passes while falling backwards. Upright, the Snake fared even worse as the alert Chargers secondary picked off his mistakes. While Stabler's glory years may be behind him, the best is yet to come for the young Chargers and wide receiver John Jefferson. Many receivers are as fast, some run as precise a pattern, but none of them adjust to a ball in flight like J.J. Jefferson's ability to make the spectacular almost commonplace opens up other options for quarterback Dan Fouts. With a variety of quarter horses to select from, Fouts still found a time and a place for old warhorse tight end Bob Klein, number 84. While the Chargers looked awesome defeating the Raiders 30-10, they remain mere mortals compared with those gods from Mount Olympus, the 3-time world champion Pittsburgh Steelers. These other worldlies are led by number 12, Terry Bradshaw, whose maturity and ability to produce touchdowns with a flick of his wrist make him the most extraordinary quarterback in pro football. Bradshaw's receivers possess a ton of athletic ability. Everybody knows Lynn Swann and John Stallworth. Now welcome number 86, Jim Smith, to the fold. While the offense was merely competent by their standards, Pittsburgh ran roughshod over the Houston Oilers primarily on the strength of their steel curtain defense. Number 64, Steve Furness, led a fearsome charge that pummeled Dan Pastorini, number 7, pro football's highest-paid quarterback. When Pastorini's protection and body had thoroughly decomposed, number 14, Gifford Nielsen, was thrown to the wolves like a piece of raw meat. The result was an interception and a touchdown by number 53, linebacker Dirk Winston, as the Steelers hammered out a decisive 38-7 victory over their most bitter rivals. The Broncos were losing, and a strange silence shrouded Denver's Mile High Stadium. Trailing Los Angeles by 4, Craig Morton replaced Norris Weiss in the hopes of resuscitating a dying Bronco offense. Dave Preston's blast and Morton's veteran leadership provided Denver with the lead. But late in the game, Morton would change from hero to GOAT. Dave Elmendorf's hit and Jack Reynolds' touchdown recovery spelled defeat for Denver and terminated a bittersweet evening for Mr. Morton. Baltimore quarterback Greg Landry would travel the same path despite some bright moments. Number 87, Brian DeRue's outstanding catch and carry marked Landry's second touchdown pass of the game. The first coming on a peculiarly thrown ball in the Colts' first possession. Apparently targeted for Mac Alston, number 83, Landry's pass seemed to arc and curve strangely into the arms of Don Hardiman for the score. Down 17, the Bucks would answer. The catch of second-round pick Gordon Jones, number 84, climaxed a Tampa Bay uprising that deadlocked the game at 26 after regulation. As did Craig Morton, Landry would meet with despair. A critical fumble allowed Buck kicker Neil O'Donohue to win it for Tampa coach John McKay. After the 29-26 sudden death victory, McKay said, "Our team is going to keep right on winning because we're better than most people think and not as bad as we used to be, because it would be hard to be as bad as that." While Morton and Landry ended as losers, Cardinal quarterback Jim Hart began as one against the Giants. Safety Ernie Jones' interception return capped a 14-point New York outburst in the first 5 minutes of play. Fortunately for St. Louis, Giant quarterback Joe Pisarcik would fumble the game into a tie. Alert linebacker Mark Arneson made it 14-14 at the half, and either Pisarcik or Hart would have to join the ranks of the vanquished quarterbacks by game's end. It would not be Jim Hart and his Cardinals. Tight end Al Chandler's grab made it 27-14 St. Louis. Like Jim Hart, Joe Theismann of the Redskins loves to win. Number 84, Gene Fugit, caught one of Theismann's 2 touchdown tosses, while number 25, Benny Malone, powered his way to another score. Another look at Malone's touchdown reveals that a shattering block from number 44, John Riggins, made it all happen. Washington outlasted Detroit 27-24. In San Francisco, Roger Staubach withstood the pressure of 5-1 odds to achieve victory for Dallas. His pass to Drew Pearson overcame a 10-6 49er halftime edge. Last year's leading passer, Staubach reads a defense as well as anybody in the league. After scanning the 49ers secondary, Roger found Billy Joe Dupree to lock the game away. A quarterback with a hot hand can determine the outcome of a contest. Against San Francisco, Staubach proved to be the difference as Dallas defeated the 49ers 21-13.